Guys, what's up? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Happy Saturday. We're on week 6 now for fantasy football, and what can I say? Another interesting week ahead of us. Um, the Chiefs Bills game was supposed to be Thursday night, got moved to Monday at 4 p.m. Central Time. Cowboys and Cardinals play on Monday night. No Dak Prescott. As you can see here on the screen, Falcons have another positive for COVID. The Broncos running back coach is positive for COVID. Um, so I think this leaves the Denver game up in the air and the Atlanta game up in the air because I would assume that Falcons have left already. Let's check on this. Okay, the team's taking two. Okay, so the game is on. So that one sounds like this one. They're not traveling. So, all right, I guess all the games are on so far. So let's cross that there are no COVID. Excuse me, there are no positive COVID tests game day. So it's gonna be interesting to see how all this plays out. OBJ is back, gonna play. So I'm not gonna run through a lot of the injuries. I'm gonna do that on stream. So if you want to check the stream out, twitch.tv/ghosthunter1974. Twitter is hunter1974ghost. Hit me up with those questions. Um, I will be on tonight in approximately 30 minutes, Twitch, to do a full review, and then planning on doing like I'm gonna be on FIFA, but I'm just gonna be playing like something so like I can chat with anybody that wants to come in, talk. So the other thing, thank you for support on the channel. I appreciate you subscriptions that have commented on the videos. I appreciate it very much. I just try to put this out to kind of help you guys out a little bit. Hopefully, it helps. I don't follow my own advice sometimes, and it ends up costing me. It helps you out, so I appreciate that. Denver, New England, first game up. Um, I'm not starting either quarterback in this game. Um, I, it's Drew Lock and Jarrett Stidham. Denver's without so many people. No Noah Fant. As you can see, no Melvin Gordon, no Noah Fant. The only two guys that I would probably play in the offense is Tim Patrick and Philip Lindsay. I think Gilmore is going to be on Jerry Jeudy. So it's basically Patrick and Lindsay are the two guys that are going to have to do. I just don't know that they can do enough on the road in New England. I'd expect New England to run the ball quite a bit. Stidham is a starter. Put it this way: it doesn't matter who the starter is. I expect New England because Denver's basically playing their almost their whole B team. Basically, is the way I look at it. All the injuries they have. So I'm going to start Damian Harris, James White, Julian Edelman, and N'Keal Harry. None of the I don't like any of the tight ends in this game. New England's defense is a start in this game, in my opinion. Remember New England lost to Kansas City. They were supposed to play Denver last week. Game got moved. They've had 2 weeks to prepare. Bill Belichick, you give him 2 weeks to prepare anybody. He's going to have that defense ready to go, and that offense not the best. Oh, wait a minute, Cam Newton might. That's interesting. I just now, you know what? Let's. I wasn't gonna go over. I want to, but this one I do want to look at. Um, okay, so it looks like I'm throwing Cam Newton. I forgot that he's back from. I think he's back from COVID protocol, whatever you want to call it. So, should be good to go. And supposedly the rumor is Jack Mason has COVID. Sony Michelle has COVID, and there's one other guy on the Patriots that has COVID. So they've not been around the team at all. So I forgot that Cam Newton was probably back. So um, Newton's back, so you start him. If it's anybody other than Newton, hit him. I think the Patriots will try to control the ball or control the clock. Sorry, not the ball. I guess you could take it both, but they're gonna let their defense win the game for them. Taking New England by 7. That one. Moving on to and I'm telling you, Tennessee is looking pretty good this year, and they're down starting what? Ryan Tannehill making plays. Derrick Henry. The defense is actually pretty good. Took care of the Bills today. So it's a short week for them, but they're playing at home. I don't think it'll bother them too much. I'm starting Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, Jonnu Smith, Jay Brown, Titans. Houston side, they ended up getting lucky last week with our pick of Houston. Figured that they would perform for Romeo Cornell, whatever you want to call it. So this week on the road at Tennessee. Technically, this should favor Houston because on a short week, Houston's had a couple extra. But I don't know that matters. So on the Houston side of the ball, starting Watson, I'm starting David Johnson. David Johnson's getting really close to being in the flex range. I said it when they traded for him, in the Chiefs game, he scored a touchdown. Everybody's like, oh, he's back. Like, wait till we're about halfway through the season, quarter of the way, and then let's talk about it. Since that Kansas City game, he's not a lot. I'm going to give him the start this week, simply because he's a pass catcher out of the backfield. Will Fuller, Jordan Akins, a tight end. I believe it was last week. Cooks went. Maybe it was a week before last, whatever it was. I don't think he's a start this week. Darren Fells, I believe, is injured, so he's out. Corey Davis, good. Lee Freeman, not really big. So, a little bit of a defensive start. Usually these games are like 2017, 21, that kind of game. So I'm going to take the Titans by a field goal. I just think they're right now, and they're riding a high after beating Buffalo. Josh Allen made Josh Allen look kind of silly on a few plays. So see how that pans. Next game up, Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Probably, I'm not sold on Cleveland yet. They're gonna have to beat teams like that. Start garnering some. Not saying that they're not good. Saying I know they beat the Colts, but Colts offense is us, in my opinion. I like OBJ this week. He's gonna have to make some big plays. Baker, I have him as a question mark because I'm not sure. I think he's gonna get by that Steeler. But after watching the Eagles last week and Winston went for 152 touchdown like that. This is kind of Baker's time to step up and actually lead his team and play good. So I have him as a flex play. I like Kareem Hunt this week. No Nick Chubb. I think Dearness Johnson, whoever's in running back, as far as like ground game goes, is going to struggle. So comes in, pass catcher. Not really big on anybody else because you saw Zach Ertz didn't do anything last week. Zach Ertz didn't do much last week, and outside of Travis Fulgham, technically it was a running back, but I think Miles Sanders is a little better than the Browns' backups. Hunt's a decent runner, so I expect Hunt to have probably 100 total yards and a touchdown game. Over the Pittsburgh side, I'm not really sure about Big Ben this week. This is the kind of game that he kind of struggles in my opinion. Games that he play big and he doesn't. And I mean, Chase Claypool was that was insane last week. Not going to duplicate that this week. Cleveland's defense, in my opinion, is better than the. I'm starting James Conner, Juju. I think Eric Ebron could have a decent game this week. Um, I have been listed that I just mean if you don't have any other options, you got to play him. That's fine. I'm expecting maybe like I don't know 200 two touchdowns, between 200 250 two touchdowns. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game. Well, I don't know. Say that, but I'm not sure. I have a feeling it could be a defensive game. As you can see on the screen, obviously the next gen stats. Myles Garrett's playing lights out this year. Let's hope he keeps the helmet on in this game. Roethlisberger the fastest to get the ball out of his hand. Something has to give. So, in my opinion, it's Cleveland's front seven against Steelers' offensive line. And on the opposite side of the ball, it's Baker Mayfield. He play under control and generate drives, keep the ball away from the Steelers. I kind of have Ben as a sit this week. Claypool I have as a sit this week. Jarvis Landry going flex maybe. I have him as a sit, but you could lean him in as a flex. Desperate, as the old saying goes, desperate times call for desperate measures. He could be a flex play, and I don't like Austin Hooper at all. I'm taking Pittsburgh by a field goal at home. Like I said, I think it could be like a 2017 or yeah, 35-30. I'm going to go ahead and take the Steelers by a field goal. Moving ahead, Baltimore at Philly. Not a lot to say here. I don't like much on the Philadelphia side of the ball. The only guy I like is Zach Ertz. I don't know if I don't like any of the Philly wide receivers. I mean, the guy that I would probably give a shot there right now would be Greg Ward. I think I'm not a big like Travis Fulgham. That was my opinion last week. I don't know how many people picked him up. I'm not on that, so like I said, Zach Ertz is all like sit Carson Wentz, sit all the sit Miles Sanders because that Baltimore's going to stuff the run. They're going to basically try to force Carson Wentz to beat him, and the way Wentz is right now, I think the Baltimore D's is starting in this game as well. I'm starting Lamar Jackson, Marquise Brown, Mark Andrews, and Mark Ingram. Basically, all the M's, Three Musketeers. Basically, I guess. I'm starting them this week, and I think Baltimore wins by 10 at Philly. I just don't like Philly that much this year. They're not playing well. So yeah, taking Baltimore by 10. Moving on to Washington at the Giants. Yeah, kind of another one of those games. Like most of the only early game that interests me is Cleveland and Pittsburgh. None of the rest of the games. Well, I take that back. The Chicago, Carolina, a little bit. The rest of those games, I have no interest at all. And later in the day, I wanted to see Green Bay, Tampa Bay. And obviously, I want to see both Monday games. So anyway, back to Washington Giants. Um, Washington on the road. Kyle Allen, yeah, maybe a flex play. I think he's back. Not then. Yeah, I don't know that I would start Alex. I love Alex Smith. He did a lot of great things at Kansas City. I'm glad to see him back on the field after injury that he suffered. He's gone. Get back on the field. Love him. Love him as a person. Fantasy player. Yeah, not so much. Um, but I'm starting Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin. Um, I don't really like the tight ends for the Redskins. On the other side, Darius Slayton and Evan Ingram are the only two guys that are going to try to carry the load of that offense. I mean, they'll have points. So if you're desperate, you're going to get your points there. I'm not playing Daniel Jones. I'm not playing any of the Giants wide receiver backs. Don't like. Washington's defense is pretty decent. They might be a flex play. Their defense might be a flex play this week. When I say flex, they might get 6, 7 points, and your defense is on a bye this week, and that's where you're going to look. But I'm gonna take Washington by a field goal on the road at the Giants. Just don't like the way the Giants are playing right now. I mean, they did play decent last week, but keep in mind that is the Cowboys who's consistent right now. Yeah. Moving on, Atlanta and Minnesota. Um, Kind of funny how I don't want to say how the mighty have fallen, but Atlanta and Minnesota were pretty decent last year. Minnesota was actually a playoff team. Trade away Diggs and it just goes away. So yeah. From what I've read, Julio Jones is playing this week. So starting Todd Gurley, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Hayden Hurst. Minnesota's defense isn't that good. So they should be able to do something. But question mark, Matt Ryan. So I don't know what to think about Matt Ryan. I kind of thought beginning of the season, I thought their offense was really good. But I know he's starting to age a little bit. Matt Ryan's aging a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. So I have Ryan as next play. I mean, I would say you could start him just based off, but the way that Minnesota kind of shut down Russell Wilson last week, who's better, Russell Wilson or Matt Ryan? I'm saying Russell Wilson. So, I need to get moving. Run out. Minnesota side of the ball, start Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, Alexander Madison, Justin Jefferson. Sit Russell Gage, sit Kyle Rudolph, and like I said, Matt Ryan question mark. And unfortunately, Minnesota by a field goal at home. I just don't think Atlanta is going to do. They're banged up worse on the defensive side of the ball than they are offensive. On Minnesota. The next game, Detroit, Jacksonville. I'm actually torn. I'm starting Gardner Minshew, James Robinson. If he plays DJ Shark, then Laviska Shenault Jr. He's actually stepped up. DJ out last. So the Detroit side of the ball, Matthew Stafford, Kenny Galladay, and Jay Hawkinson. Sitting Adrian Peterson, Keelan Cole, Jacksonville tight ends, Marvin Jones Jr. Marvin Jones Jr. is a complete mystery to me this year. I thought he was going to, him and Galladay, I figured they were going to have, but I don't know. DeAndre Swift, maybe a flex play if you need him. I honestly don't know who I'm going to take in this game yet. My mind's telling me Detroit. My heart's telling me Jacksonville. Because I said this like a week or two ago. Jacksonville play better at home than road. They went on the road, lost 2 games to Cincinnati and Houston. Back home, they beat the Colts. Or no, they beat Week 1 maybe like that. I'm not sure. So I'm kind of torn on who I'm going to take there. I will pick at some point. So not one of those that I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I picked. I'll we'll probably try to pick somebody. Cincinnati, Indy. Indy's got to be pissed after last week losing to Cleveland. I'm starting Jonathan Taylor, Zach Pascal, Trey Burton is actually helping, and the Indy D. Only thing I like on the Cincinnati side, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. I'm sitting T.Y. Hilton. Hard to say Paris. Yeah. Long. Um, sitting Rivers. Rivers proven me this year that he's washed up. And, you know, they have some decent players there around him, but he's not using them, in my opinion. So can't sit him. I'm sitting Burrow again. Nixon. I think Indy's D is going to play really good this week, and I'm taking Indy by 10 for Cincinnati. I guarantee you, Frank Reich lit into that team after they lost to. Next game up, Chicago, Carolina. Chicago got lucky beating Tampa Bay at home by a point last week. I still say Chicago is the most rated 4-1 team in the NFL. They're not that good. They should be probably. They got injury, a few injuries, but they just have no consistency. And started with Trubisky. Foles has kind of carried the same thing. I mean, yeah, he came back and let him back against Atlanta, but Atlanta's 0-5. Carolina, I think they started 0-2. They've won 3 games in a row. Playing better. Mike Davis is running the ball well. Teddy Bridgewater is taking care of the ball. And Robbie Anderson's playing wide receiver. So, that being said, start Mike Davis, start Robbie Anderson, and flex Teddy Bridgewater. I think he's going to struggle a little bit, but I mean, this kind of has a struggle bus game. So I kind of have Bridgewater. I have Bridgewater as a sit, but he's more of a flex. I think Brady's a flex in this game. I just don't know. I don't know. Or sorry, why did I put? Oh, never mind. I had TB written down, and I was thinking, yeah, I'm good. I promise. Teddy Bridgewater probably flex. Anyway, moving on. David Montgomery, Jimmy Graham, and Allen Robinson starts for the Bears. Um, I don't really like Foles a whole lot. I don't like DJ Moore, and I don't like Anthony. Um, so I'm going to take Carolina by a field goal. So that is that. Moving on. I'm not even going to spend a lot of time on this. Jets at Miami. Miami actually they they shocked me last week by taking 49ers to the woodshed. Starting Fitzy. I'm starting Myles Gaskin, Devontae Parker, Preston Wilson, and Mike Gesicki. The only guy I'm playing on Jets is Crowder. Flacco's no start. Basically bench the Jets. You might even flex the Miami D in if you need them. Week. But I'm going Miami by 10 at home. Running out of time, so I'm apologize that I'm kind of speeding through this, but be sure to check out the stream twitch.tv Coach Hunter 1970. Green Bay, Tampa Bay. Green Bay with a bye week, so A-Rod, A. Jones, Davante Adams, and Robert Tonyan. Remember, I said a couple weeks ago, I said start Robert Tonyan, and he had 3 or 4 touchdowns. I think he's there to stay. Um, Davante Adams is a clear cut number 1. There's not really a number 2 behind him, so I think Tonyan's that guy. On the other side of the ball for Tampa Bay, starting Leonard Fournette, Mike Evans, and Scotty Miller. Hit both defenses because I think it's going to be a bit of a high scoring game. Brady, I don't know, against that Green Bay defense. Green Bay coming off the bye, there's kind of has Green Bay vibes. They're undefeated. They want to keep that going. And Ronald Jones, don't like him this week. I think Green Bay, Kenny Clark is back this week. And Davante Adams is back this week. So I think Green Bay wins by a touchdown. Tampa. Rams and 49ers. All I'm going to say, reference the Miami game from last week. Rams are 4-1. Going Jared Goff, Robert Woods, Cup. I'm not really big on Darrell Henderson. I mean, maybe a flex. San Francisco side of the ball, I'm going Raheem Mostert, George Kittle, and Deebo Samuel. Jimmy G, Tyler Higbee, Brandon Ayuk. I'm gonna go LA by a field goal. It could be more than that, but that's a Sunday night game. See how good that is. The next game, Kansas City, Buffalo. You're gonna laugh, but start everyone, hit the D's. No joke. This is gonna be a high-scoring game. Kansas City's defense didn't play very well against Oakland. I don't think they're gonna play very well against the Bills. Road. I expect Buffalo's defense to play a little bit better, but Kansas City's offense, they'll score some points. I'm going Buffalo. I'm a Chiefs fan and pick again. I just don't like what I saw last week, and I just coach is not having the team ready to go at sandwich game between England and Buffalo. Going Buffalo there. Then Monday night, the other Monday night game, Arizona Dallas. It's gonna be interesting to see how Dallas responds with their defense. Just in my opinion, I think Kyler Murray has a huge game. D Hop is going to have a good game. Christian Kirk should have a good game. And I think he played running back, Chase Edmonds. After last week, Kenyon Drake, he had, 50 yards and a touchdown. Still not sold on the dude. He's not playing very well. I'm going to Edmonds there. Put over to Dallas, taking Zeke, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, sitting Andy Dalton, Dalton Schultz, Kenyon Drake, and the Arizona tight ends. That's I'm taking Arizona by a touchdown on Monday night in Dallas. Just don't like the way the Cowboys are. So that is a quick rundown of this week's game. I would appreciate the thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed it. If you have questions, feel free to post them. I'm going to be going live over on Twitch in about 10 minutes. I'm going to be rendering this and getting this up as quick as I can. So I appreciate everybody checking it out. We'll be back tomorrow with some FIFA videos for marquee matchups and stuff like that. So appreciate you guys hanging out, watching the video, and I will catch you very soon.